We've got controversial insider trip planning cheat codes for permits, gear, and more.
Coming up right now. Hello, everybody. This is Derek, and with me today is the only man who will eat beetles and poop maggots. It is Carl Mandrioli. That's live. What's up, buddy?
Welcome to the Backpacking Delicious podcast, everybody. With me today is Derek Somerville. He's a man who was planning to get a brain transplant, but then he changed his mind.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Wow. Way to use your head. Get it?
I'm just sucking you right in there, my
you
friend.
You can't beat them, join them, I guess.
That's right.
Never join them.
That is correct. Yeah. So we got kind of a mouthful of an episode here, but we've got some serious conversations about trip planning. Ready for this?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, there's sure. We got some tips. We got all the.
You said you prepared. You said you made it like a separate folder for all your tips.
I have a folder. I had 2 or 3 great tips. Okay. I don't even know if I agree with one of the tips, but we're going to talk about.
Why would you share it? Why would you share it? If
because I'm going to share it. I'll tell you. Here's why. I'm going to share it, but then I want to see. I'm not going to say anything. All right. I'm just going to read the tip. And then I want you. I want to see if my prediction of your reaction will be correct.
You're testing me.
I'm testing you.
Yeah, this is what good friends do.
Because I know. Look, let's just get right down to it right now. Okay. Because I know that you are the trip planner. This is your baby, your forte. So I know that you're going to attempt to probably rip me apart. Like, why have you planned a trip, Eric? You know all that. And
I'm not trying to rip you apart. Here's what I want to know.
You can't help it. You can't help it.
Oh, okay. Well, I do want to rip you apart, but not for that reason necessarily. Okay. Here's what people want to know is because they know that I'm the trip planner, at least people that listen to this podcast for a while. And they know that I'm a very collaborative person, but nobody really wants to collaborate for the most part on our trips. And so I'm like, hey, what do you think about going here or here? And the response is always, whatever you think, wherever you want to go.
Oh, jeez.
And so you have to prove to everybody else out there, why should they believe your tips? What credibility do you have in the trip planning realm?
I think this is an opportunity to inflate yourself and your ego.
It's not.
Look, you want me to salute you right now? I'll do it.
I know you're missing it, man. I believe in you, but you need to have the credibility with everybody else.
I feel like this should come in this way. Like I could give a tip or two.
Yeah.
But you have more frequency with this. So maybe you need to rank the tips. Maybe we need to change it where you rank the tip.
I don't think you know what this episode's about. We're gonna give what I think are helpful trip planning tips, gear tips, those types of things, but they're controversial. So it's not like I'm coming across as some sort of like authority. There's gonna be tips that people might really have a strong reaction to and push back on, maybe even get angry about. So
I hope so.
Yeah,
I have some tips here that I think that I've researched that I think are semi-controversial.
Okay.
So I'll be curious what people. I'm curious what you're going to say.
Yeah,
I'm curious what people.
I actually think you're going to agree with my tips. I think you're going to be all in on my ideas. I don't think you're going to push back unless you're just doing that just to like bother me. But I think there'll be people that disagree. I'll say that.
There's always people that disagree.
There are some keywords. Yeah, there's some keywords in the title, but this is not like clickbait stuff. These are really controversial. There's really some insider ideas here, and I would call them cheat codes. We're gonna find out.
We are gonna find out.
Okay. Okay. Just for credibility purposes, have you ever planned a backpacking trip?
Yes.
Okay. So there you go.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a little while, but
I've planned a few.
All right.
Not to your extent. We all know.
Yeah, you have been like somebody who's helped plan some of the trips. Like you've been somebody that helped with part of the trip planning when we've done like these destination backpacking trips as well. So you've been in on that stuff, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're talking solo plan, just a few, but yeah, primarily with you.
How do you feel in general about suggesting controversial ideas, things that are kind of like maybe a little bit iffy to people in terms of where they want to go and in terms of kind of what they're going to bring with them?
I think this is great.
Okay.
Because we can rip it apart and get to the bottom of it. These aren't personal tips, but I think these are pro tips or insider tips that we've found and discovered that these are out there that people are taking to heart. So let's rip them apart.
This episode is not for the pearl clutchers out there that are like, my goodness, This is, how dare they suggest that? This is for people who are looking to aggressively go where they want to go and do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that fair to say?
I would think so.
Okay. All right. So,
so
if you're a pearl clutcher, then just click it off right now. Just turn it off right now. All right.
Right now.
Okay. Bible verse for the episode, Proverbs 15:22. Without counsel, plans fail, but with many advisors, they succeed. Are you one who seeks advice or counsel when forming plans? Or do you even form plans?
Do I seek counsel?
Yeah.
I think I like to seek counsel. I think if it's a difficult decision or situation, I think I would like to think that I go to somebody I respect, get their input. I think that's wise.
You'd like to think that you do, or you actually do that?
I tend to do that.
Okay.
That's why I don't call you.
that's why I'm asking. I don't, because you've never asked me.
You're like, you never call me. Well, what does that tell you? I don't know.
Okay. Not everybody does, obviously. And I mean, we have friends or friends of friends that, that we've had some interactions with them where, like, I'm not going to get specific, but you were very wise. I'll say this: you're very wise in an area, very experienced in an area, and they thought they knew everything and went ahead and made a rough decision. We'll just say that. So,
well, are you going to bring this up later? No, I'm curious.
Yeah. I just think that it's good to seek counsel. I think that's why, the backpacking YouTubers are so popular, pulling wisdom from them, or even just looking at, trips that they've gone on and checking out the scenery to see if that's a place you want to go, that kind of thing. There's just a lot of,
in an indirect way, couldn't you say that, like, hey, I'm researching a trip of any kind, and you're doing a lot of research on YouTube because there's so many people putting content out, like, hey, I was just here. This is what it's
right.
Like.
Exactly.
Like, that to me is seeking counsel. Because absolutely. Because, like, 20 years ago, you couldn't do that. I mean, what a bonus it is today to do that. So
it doesn't always work. So, for example, when planning for last summer's trip, we're going to the homeland of Justin Outdoors and Backcountry Ford's Jesse Manti.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out, I was like, look, typically in the Rockies, at least down here in Colorado, we're going to get a lot of rain, but it's just going to come and it's going to, like, pummel you for like an hour or two, afternoon thunderstorm, and then it's going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was talking to Jesse. He's like, yeah, like, that's same kind of thing. Canadian Rockies. I was like, okay, so you don't have any days where it's like cold and rainy the whole day. He's like, it is very rare. Like, that is, that's not going to happen.
And it did.
And that happened for 2 days in a row. I was like, okay, maybe either we got really unlucky or that counsel might not have been accurate there.
Yeah. This was, and for those of you that forgot, this was Carl's emotional meltdown trip. So that was good. It was a good trip.
Let's get to it, man. Let's get to this. All right. You want to go first or second?
I'll go second. Let's go second.
All right.
Bring up your tip number one. What do you got?
Okay, so I'm going to start easy, and then I'm going to get more intense as we go here.
Easy.
Intense is not the right. Yeah, something like people might have heard of.
Sure.
So, okay, so typically, if I'm talking about permits specifically. If you're trying to go to a destination spot, so every park does it differently. Where some people have, or some parks have quota systems from the trailhead. Some parks have quota systems for different zones. Some parks have quota systems for, like, having backcountry sites. Unfortunately, it's just a mess, and every park seems to do it differently. So, you got to figure out what the structures of the park, and then, is there a less traveled trailhead to start from, where maybe you can hit that backcountry site on the second night? Maybe you can reach wherever it is you're trying to go from a different trailhead, maybe a less popular or less traveled trailhead. Might even be like a pull off on the side of the road versus a massive parking lot. If so, you are more likely to get that permit if you can find that area.
Correct.
Yeah. That's my tip.
That's a similar tip.
Not controversial.
No.
Yeah.
Always controversial.
All right.
There's somebody's going to okay. This kind of goes in line, and I know you knew I was going to bring this one up, and I'm going to bring it up right now. I'll bring up the Half Dome one.
Half Dome.
I'm going to bring it up.
All right, say it and then we'll talk.
Bring it up. Sometimes it's hard to get. Now, people, this is like a popular spot, right? So it can be hard to get the permit. So the tip is, it's probably less difficult to add your Half Dome to your backpacking permit, because many more people apply for the day hiking permit than they do for the backcountry permit, which is kind of what you're saying. So if you again apply for a permit near Half Dome, that's like an offshoot. Could you then, like, include Half Dome on your hike along the way to wherever else you're going?
Yeah,
and then that way you can get it. So to me, that seems smart. If you really want to go, like, I've actually never. I don't think I've ever hiked to the top of Half Dome. I've gone by it. I've gone near it, like, multiple times.
Yeah.
So if you don't want the hassle of it, then plan around it.
So your suggestion is, if you want to go to Half Dome, don't do the day hike because those permits are hard to come by. Add it to your backpacking permit and find a spot kind of nearby where you can.
It's an option. Yes,
right.
It's an option.
Okay. All right.
So, nay. What are you going to say? Nay?
I'm going to say this is why your suggestions are always awesome.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
75% of the people out there don't know what Half Dome is. 75%. You're talking about a place they don't know what it is.
This is like one of the... Okay.
You didn't even say what national park it's in. You're talking about one specific hike in one specific national park. This is applicable
75% of people.
To 5
you have a number
people out of our audience.
You're saying you have an accurate number of 75%.
Yeah. Quick poll.
Okay. Not Yellowstone. It's Yosemite National Park.
Right.
Check it out. Half Dome.
Yep.
Who was the guy that climbed El Capitan? What was his name?
Alex Honnold.
Alex Honnold. He climbed right near there. It's right near that. Okay, check it out. Super popular.
All right, Derek helps 5 people out there, 5 individual people in our audience. If you are one of those 5, then you're probably on Team Derek right now.
Does one person
like, what is he talking about?
Does one person not matter, Carl? You know what I mean? Does one person not matter? If I help one person today, that's more than you've helped all week.
Okay, so what you're suggesting is that future episodes, we're just gonna have a target audience. Like, if you've ever heard of a single trail in a single national park, this episode's for you.
Look, I think what I'm gonna do is just create fake stats, throw them at the people to get them on my side, and then I'll give you some juicy actual info, and we'll it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I think
that was one too.
I think you might need to seek some counsel on that one. Just saying.
If you don't think that that's a popular spot for millions of people, I pity you.
Okay.
Moving along.
All right. Here we go. Next one I got is, so let's go with sometime. So I'm going to go back to the kind of the trailhead scenario where their quota system is based on the trailhead. Okay. So
the trailhead, right.
They have a specific number set for the trailhead. So let's say that you have 4 people in your group, but there's only 2 open spots at that trailhead. This is where it gets controversial. So take those 2 spots. Then find another trailhead that could feasibly get to where you want to go for day 1, and then take your other 2 spots or however many people you have and do that. Okay, so now you have a permit for wherever it is you're going to end up for the night, but just sink and start at the same trailhead. Just backpack together.
See, so you're just getting multiple permits to cover your bases.
Yeah, but really, by the letter of the law, the other permit, the people have to should be starting at that trailhead. The reason, but the spirit of the law, the reason why they have the numbers is to prevent overuse of the backcountry on each particular night. But you're all going to end up in the same spot anyway, and so we've had to do this a couple times where we're like, permit here, and we divide it up, and then we all end up in the same spot. But rather than actually splitting up for the first few miles, just hike together. Who cares?
Just in the spirit of the law, as you say, just break it. Just break it, because we're going to go to the same spot.
If a ranger stops you, unless it's Ranger Annie, they're going to be like, we get it. You're going to end up in the same spot anyway. Just go.
Wow. So you want to bend the rules for your own gain. I get it.
Okay. So
I don't know. That is controversial. That is controversial because
you've done it. You've been a part.
I know I have. I'm not saying it's the best option. I'm saying it's like, it's one of those things where like, you kind of like, you're darned if you do either way, right? It's like a double-edged sword. Like you could get multiple permits, in which case you're kind of taking a permit away from somebody else, right? But then if you don't do the, what do you mean not really?
Because 4 people are going to go. 4 people are going to go whether they start from one trailhead or another. I know. You're just trying to figure out a way to make those 4 people go.
But if you're getting a permit for each trailhead, right? And 4 other people from some other party wanted to go to that trailhead, and you're like, oh, they're like, you can't do it now because it's already maxed out on that day. We already gave them away. That you're taking it away from somebody else. But if you don't do that, you kind of like have to do it in order to get all the people where you want. It is kind of.
I see what you're saying. It's like my response is like sort of, but you're there first, and so you're just trying to get your people onto the trail, right? And my point is you're gonna get them there anyway. Just you're all gonna end up in the same spot. Just hike together.
Okay. Well, I mean, I see your point too. Yeah. So maybe I'm like 50.
And let's say you're a solo person. Same idea. If you're like, I want to go to campsite A, and I really want to hike on trail A to get to campsite A, but all the permits are taken, or I could start on trail B. I'm still going to end at campsite A. Just go trail A to campsite A. You're going to end up in the same spot anyway. Day hikers can use it willy-nilly. Just use it. You're not like damaging the trail extra by hiking the same spot.
So get the B permit, but go to A and go.
Correct.
Anyway.
Correct.
Okay. So just break the spirit of the law, as you said. Yeah. Well, that kind of here's an insider tip I found that kind of is in conjunction with that, mentioning the rangers, which I don't know. You tell me if this is controversial. Yeah. So if you've done the research and you know the park and you have good experience overall, and perhaps in that park, it's found that if you consistently found that a backcountry ranger will more readily point you toward the more adventurous route option than they might suggest to a novice.
Like if you convince them that you're experienced.
Correct. Like, well, we've been here before, and it really depends on the ranger, right? I mean, some of it depends on the ranger. What if you run into Ranger Anna and she's like, I don't care, Carl, that you've never experienced a bear. Right. You're going to need a bear canister at all times.
Yeah.
And then, you get in a fight about it.
Well, so, but those are actually rules you're supposed to follow. Those are in place.
Spirit of the law.
Okay. I see what you're saying. So your scenario is you're showing up to a ranger station asking for suggestions, right?
Yeah, but they're discerning what your skill level is and how you present yourself, essentially, right? You got to sell yourself.
Okay.
And then we all know the luxuries and the brilliance of the rangers. They don't always tell you the most accurate information. So they might be giving you the quote unquote adventurous trip, which might not be the most adventurous trip.
So you're saying try to get the better trip from the rangers at the ranger station, but don't believe them.
That's the insider tip is to trust the rangers, though. I don't know if I believe this trip. I can see the value if you're a novice. I can see the value. But if you're
this is a very real scenario that we've encountered before. This
a lot of times.
Yeah, but here's what happened. I don't know if you were at the station when this happened. We actually filmed this. We have this. I think I've got the archive footage of this happening. I should show this. So we show up to the ranger station, and I already know the trip plan, but at the time it's like a pseudo aggressive one. So I think we had like a 16-mile day worked in there. The elevation gain wasn't crazy, but we had a couple long days in. We'll just say that.
Okay.
And we show up, and I talked to Ranger Irene. I remember her name, and she was very nice. But I basically said, because I knew, like, I think it was our buddy Nolson that was filming us. I didn't sell myself, so I didn't take the advice you just suggested. I just said, hey, here's our trip plan. What do you think about that? And then she's like, okay. And she kind of gave me a look like I don't know how to respond to that. I'm like, basically what I'm asking is, can guys that look like me make this trip? And she's like, well, you're probably going to want to take a little bit closer look at the map and maybe modify your agenda there. Maybe do this shorter loop here, essentially.
I got an email from Irene. You know what the real truth was? She emailed me and she's like, look, Derek, I took one look at this guy's shoulders. I knew he couldn't make it. I had to suggest a weaker route, and he's going to do what he wants to do anyway. So that's what happened. I mean,
Yeah. I like that.
But I mean, and again, they might also like to tell you to go somewhere else because, they've heard intel about how many times have we heard this? Like, well, there's snow over here. You can't go over there.
Yeah.
And then we go there anyway and there's no snow. Right.
Well, so she told me that she had hiked 20 miles in a day. And so I was like, so you've hiked 20 miles. And she was like, 65 years old. But you don't think guys like me can hike 15 or 16?
What an insult to you. That's so great.
She just the way that she said it. You got to see the footage. I'll try to pull it out.
She's like, well, I would have loved to see the reaction.
No, you saw the reaction. You literally saw the video. It's our first documentary film that we ever made.
It's been forever. I want to see it again.
That's all right. Okay, we'll see it again. She was very nice. It was just funny the way that I probably
she tried.
I tried to set her up to be a naysayer, and she was. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. So that was yours, right? So it's mine.
That was
right?
mine. Yeah. Okay. What's your next one? I got one more.
All right. Here's my next one. Is you need to really read the bear canister regulations, especially in places where you have been before, where you know whether you need to have bear canisters or not. Really, really read them, because sometimes you'll see it'll say mandatory, and sometimes it'll say like highly suggested, and sometimes it'll say stinking both, dude. Like legit. Right. Yeah. If you go, so we're going to, I'll just ask what you're going to do about this. We're going to the Desolation Wilderness in July.
Right.
And on the website, on the National Forest website that deals with Desolation Wilderness, it says it is required, 100% required. When I signed up to get the permit on recreation.gov, it had all the rules and regulations and said it was just recommended. So what do you do?
Here's what I would do. I'd take a screenshot of that.
I did do that. I did that.
Exactly. Put it on my phone.
Right.
And then I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right.
And then I'm going to show it to him.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to take the bear canister or not?
No.
Okay.
Why would you? No, I don't know.
Here's the issue is we haven't been there before. So to be like, confident, borderline arrogant to say we're not going to see any bears, I don't really know. So I actually will bring a bear canister just for safety purposes because I don't know. Maybe they're where we're going to go.
Well, to be fair to you, like you've already been blacklisted once from a park. So I probably would bring the bear canister. I don't know. But if it says recommended, that's not saying mandatory though, right?
Right.
I don't know. Just save a lot of room in your bag. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so let's take it to the next level. So then there's places like Canyonlands where it actually is mandatory that you bring a bear canister, but 100% you're not going to see a bear. 100%.
It's so stupid.
We encountered a ranger on the trail the last time I was there. It was about a year ago. And so she could have easily been like, all right, show me your bear canisters. And I didn't have one. She did not ask that question because she didn't care. She didn't care. Yeah.
And it really depends on who you run into.
Right.
Right.
So
you just don't know.
If you know the area, if you have the intel, then read those bear canister regulations is all I'm saying. So it sounds like you're on board with this.
Yeah, I am. Okay. If you're, but that one,
All right.
If you're feeling lucky, roll the dice. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not see, because we have a desolation, I'm going to bring it. And I did do I asked, who did I ask? We have one of our Patreon supporters, Jared from Ohio. I asked him, I said, hey, did you encounter any bears? He's like, I didn't, but somebody camping nearby, like the bears got to the food they hung. And so I'm warned. I'm going to take it.
All right. That's fair.
What else you got?
Okay. Let's see. I got one more. It's called the shotgun tip.
Okay.
So you can apply for a permit reservation in multiple parks for a range of dates, hoping that at least one is successful. You can always cancel any if you don't use them, and you often get the most and often get the most cost refunded. So in parks that conduct early access permit lotteries, we've talked about lotteries before, have everyone in your group enter the lottery. So if you can get your group to do that, great. But especially if you're going to somewhere like super popular, I don't know,
the
Glacier,
Wonderland Trail, they have a lottery.
Wonderland, yeah. Okay. So stuff like that. I mean, if you have a flexible schedule and you can do this stuff, I think that's a great idea to like throw out multiple options.
Yeah.
And flexibility. But if you're like our group, we're like, well, we got to go this week. Schedule. This is the week.
Right.
I mean, you credit to you though. I mean, you're on it. You're like, today's the day. I'm calling in or I'm online or whatever.
Right.
Clicking buttons.
Yep.
But a lot of the people we talk to are like, I'm single, I'm ready to mingle, and I just go whenever I feel like going. I mean, this might be a better fit. I mean, I'd probably do that if I was in that boat, but
here's why it's controversial is they tell you actually not to do that, especially if you're all vying for the same permit, whether it's with the lottery situation or not, or you're all trying to go to one park. They say don't do that because sometimes they'll double book trips and this and that. And so this is why it's controversial. But sometimes if you know it's a hard to get permit, like you got to do that, right?
You have to do that. So it's not ideal because it's part of me feels bad too because I'm like, am I taking an open spot for somebody else if I get two of these? And then what if I just don't cancel it because I'm too lazy? People just don't cancel it.
Right.
They're like, well, maybe they'll change their mind later. I'll just keep it in case, and then they just don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Well, that stinks.
Right.
Now somebody can't go. So
here's a frustrating thing. I'll just reveal this to you. This is frustrating about that situation. Kind of like an entry-level version of your tip is to just get on to recreation.gov or wherever it is that they're selling the permits and be the first person on when they open it up, which is usually like 8 p.m. Mountain Time a lot of times, and just be on there.
8 p.m. 8 p.m.
Sorry, 8 a.m. Sorry,
8 a.m. I was like, that's late.
I know. Actually, I'd prefer 8 p.m. to be honest. But anyway, so you want to be the first one on there. So there was one time where we had a large group going. So I was like, actually, we need 2 people on, each with their own account. We both need to get permits, and these are going to stink and sell out fast. This was a Canyonlands trip again. And so I was asking around for other people like, hey, would you be willing to be the second person to hop on and do this? Right. And I couldn't get anybody. People said no. They just said, I'm not. Yeah, it's like inconvenient. I'm not willing to do that.
That sucks.
So then I was like, oh, you're like, I don't ask a whole lot from the trip planning perspective. I'm asking you to do one little thing, and I got a hard no on that one. Kind of
hard no. I wasn't going. I didn't go on that trip, right?
Are you asking if you're that person?
No.
I would trust you to do it, Derek. You didn't go.
I would do it if I was going on the trip.
Yeah.
I'd have to create an account and all that, but I would.
Yeah. No, I would trust you to do it. You're reliable. I'll just leave it at that. So okay. What else? Okay, what else do I have on the list here? Okay, this one is, what if the permit you were after for, like you're too late, you just realized you wanted to go, and now it is sold out. So this is something I learned just recently, and so I haven't. So full disclosure, I haven't tried this one, but it's recommended by Hiking Guy, the guy Chris Hazard. We had him on our show. I trust this guy, and he recommends it. So he says to use a company called Outdoor Status, and for a $15 fee, they'll like use their AI or whatever to auto track when permits get canceled. So you'll get an immediate notification once a permit gets like refunded or canceled. So if it becomes available, you can immediately sign up for it.
Okay.
And so that's not controversial. That's just using a service to kind of do the dirty work for you. It only costs $15. And he recommends it. I haven't personally tried it, but it's out there. And I probably will try it if this becomes a problem.
That's not bad. That's good input,
$15, right? Not too bad.
I mean, yeah, that's a good little bonus avenue if you need it for sure.
Right.
It's good.
Okay. So yeah. You got anything else?
No, that was all I got. That's good. I think it was pretty agreeable. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah. I got one more.
Of course.
Okay. So did you ever watch Parks and Rec?
Okay. I watched some. And I keep hearing I need to revisit it. But you know how it is. There's so many shows out there.
That's kind of how I watched it. I watched a couple. I was like, I don't really get it. And then I just sat down and watched a couple in a row. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I like it. I just haven't gotten. Isn't it like 5 seasons or 6 seasons? Or
I don't know. Something like that.
I don't know.
But there's a scene where they're doing something. They're like having a get together at a park. All right. And so, and the big character, the mustache guy, Ron Swanson, he rolls up and he's in charge of the barbecue and he brings a live pig.
Beautiful.
With the implication that he is going to cook that pig, right? Okay.
Seems easy.
Yeah. So the ranger of the park rolls up to him and he's like, "You're not going to cook that pig, are you?" And he's like, "Oh, don't worry." And he pulls out a piece of paper and he's like, "Don't worry, I got a permit for this." And he hands the ranger a permit. And the ranger looks at it and says, "All this says is I can do what I want." And so I'm tempted to print one of those out and just have that handy and give it to a ranger the next time we encounter one on the trail.
That would be hilarious, actually.
Yeah. Like
we should film the reaction too.
Yeah. I would do it like with having the backup of the real permit, but just be like, no, here's my permit right here. Would you feel comfortable doing that?
I think it'd be fun. I'm up for a little awkward moment.
I'm asking like, hey, Derek, we got a ranger right here. Can you get the permit for us? And you pull
you want me to get it out?
I'm asking if you feel comfortable. I'm asking if you would do that.
If you want me, I think I could go, I could throw on the acting face and be like, yeah, here's a permit. Like dead serious.
Okay.
And then just see what they say and then have the real permit behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
I would do that.
Okay.
We should do that. It'd be really funny, actually.
Right. So
that's like when I used to go grocery shopping. They're like, all right, it's gonna be whatever, $59.95 or whatever. And I would just or not the grocery store, a restaurant. We'd pay for the meal. Yeah. And I used to put my Blockbuster Video membership card on the little credit card tray, and I just hand it to them like it was a credit card. Right. And they would take it away. They didn't really get it. They didn't see it. And then they come back like, this isn't a credit card. This is a membership card. And they get the reaction. And then we all laugh. That was great stuff. That was great stuff.
See? Okay. So we could try that.
Yeah.
So, okay. One, we did mention this. So other than the bear canister, I haven't really mentioned any like controversial gear stuff. So I'll do one more gear one for you.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize this. I just learned this from John Kelly, is that apparently those alcohol stoves, those like open flame alcohol stoves, those are banned in places that don't want any sort of open flame stuff. They're very small. They're very self-contained. Like I've never even heard of one getting out of control and like starting a fire, even like, on somebody's like shirt or something, let alone like a forest fire, but they're banned in a lot of areas. Really? So here's my question to you is if you were, I'm not an alcohol stove person, but if you were, would you feel comfortable using one in a banned area?
If I was an alcohol person?
No. An alcohol stove person.
Alcohol stove person. That's true. So I was like, I didn't hear what you said.
Process, what I'm saying.
I was like, alcohol person. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Stove?
I don't know. I don't know if I would feel comfortable.
Like fire ban, no open flames, but that's your stove. That's your go-to.
I always feel bad if there's a fire ban starting a fire. And you know how much I love starting fires.
Okay.
So I probably wouldn't do it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, just something to think about. The thought of like getting caught by a ranger with an alcohol stove and them actually processing you seems very slim, but again, spirit of the law, they don't want the big raging fires that can start a forest fire.
It's weird though, because I think about the fire stuff, and that seems it is probably a more serious like offense than like, oh, we didn't bring a bear canister. I'm like way more willing to be like, let's just skirt that whole thing.
If you had like even the smallest potential of starting a fire with those little alcohol stoves. I mean, I'm trying to think of the scenario. Like you're not paying attention, you knock it over and it lands in some pine needles that are just ready to go up. Like, I don't know.
It only takes one. I mean, how many people do their gender reveal for their babies and they start a forest fire? It just happened again this year. So
are you serious?
Yeah, I just read about it. Another
fire started from that.
When will people learn? People just make a cake
You're
pink
right.
or blue.
You're right. Be safe with that. Okay, we'll take that one off the books there. Okay.
Do a piñata. You don't have to start a forest fire.
Yeah. Would you bring a piñata backpacking?
Oh, that's a good question. How would I pack it? Just on the outside of my pack?
Yeah, just dangle.
I mean, that'd be kind of fun. But then you got to carry the trash the whole way.
If it's like in a fire area, like a lot of that's just.
Oh, well, that's true. If it's like cardboard and paper. If I could burn it, I would do it.
Okay.
I think it'd be fun. You gonna bring a piñata and have me carry it? What are you gonna
do? Yeah. I'll sneak it onto your pack. How about that?
Yeah, I won't see it. Perfect.
Okay. Nice. All right. I don't know. Hopefully there's something helpful for somebody for trip planning. Like we want you to get that special trip, your bucket list trip, your lifelong trip. We don't want you to have to bring bear canisters when you're not supposed to. So there you go. Hopefully there's something helpful. And you got trivia?
Do I have trivia? I think I do have trivia, and it's coming up right after this. All right, we got backpackers. Well, I don't know what I'd label this one. Let's just call it. Let's just call it backpacker route trivia.
Okay, sounds enticing. I'm already hooked.
Super intriguing. I know, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Question 1. What is one nickname for Route 66? Is it the Father's Road, the Mother's Road, Back Road to Civilization, or the Gunslinger Highway? Come on. You've driven the road. You've done lots of road trips. They even made
a movie about this road with cars, and they've never mentioned any of those in the movie.
Isn't that crazy? Did you watch? Oh, you watch Cars. Good job.
All the time. Not really. Okay. Let's see here. So
break it down.
It's not fathers or mothers. Although, why would you? Did you come up with the options that are wrong?
I don't know. Did I?
I tell you when I do. Did you make these up, or is this from somewhere?
You don't tell me.
I did. The last review you got wrong. He said 3 of these I made up. 1 are right. 1's right.
Okay, I made up one of these.
Okay. What was the third option?
Maybe 2. Back road to Civilization.
It's not a very
Back road of Civilization.
Gunslinger's Highway.
Incorrect.
Mother's Road.
I made that up though. Actually, you like that one?
Yeah, that's good.
It was Mother's Road.
Okay,
it's the Mother's Road.
All right.
Number 2. What highway connects east? Now you've done a lot of driving, so this should be an easy one for you. I actually did this on my.
You're about to say what connects like across the country. I haven't driven across the country, dude.
Yeah, but you've been on these freeways. Think about the freeways. Okay. What highway connects east to west USA? Okay. Is it this is all I, so I'm just gonna say that freeway. Is it 80, I-24, 40, or 220? And if you're playing at home,
80 or 40.
Okay.
Let's see. 80, I know. I'm pretty sure it goes all the way to San Francisco. I'll go 80.
80 is correct.
Yes. Yes.
I thought it was 40, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it could have been 40.
40 it starts in like Needles, like California, but it's not near the coast.
Starts there? Okay.
Well, part of it. Yeah. California is sure. Yeah. It is a desolate freeway.
Needles is a nice place.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not.
It's the only time I've ever been driving. I think I was going to Laughlin, California, and I had to pull over to sleep because there's nothing there to look at.
Yeah. Maybe invite me along next time. Just saying.
Well, I didn't really hang out with you back then. So
okay.
Maybe I would. All right. Number 3. This is make or break right here, buddy. All right. This one you should get. We've talked about the stuff like this.
Every time you say that, I get it wrong.
We've
literally every time.
We've talked about this topic multiple times.
Okay.
I hope you remember. Okay. What is the most visited national park in the U.S.? Do you know, or do you want me to give you the multiple choice?
I know it's either Grand Canyon or Smoky Mountains.
I'm gonna give you the 4.
I feel like it changes.
Is it Rocky Mountain? Is it
third place?
Smoky? Is it Grand Canyon?
Maybe.
Or is it Zion?
Not Zion. Zion's not even like that. Zion's like maybe in the top 10, maybe. I don't think it is actually. Okay, I'll go Grand Canyon.
Oh, you failed trivia. It is Smoky.
Smoky changes, man. Well, I'm gonna research that because I feel like every year it's a different answer.
Zion was like number 4 when I looked it up.
Was it really?
Yeah.
But did you? Is this 2023 data or is this?
I don't have the link. I don't have the link in front of me. I'm
gonna look it up.
Oh boy, here we go. This is what he does. He does it mid-show because he doesn't want to lose trivia. I love it.
Why would you want to lose trivia? Why would you want to lose trivia?
You can't handle it. I just take your word for it because I trust you. But you know,
okay. So the first thing comes up is a CNN 10 site. Now, so I want to see
CNN.
When. Yeah, this is as of May 26, 2023. So okay, it says Smoky Mountain. I'll give it to you.
Thanks.
I'll take the loss. I'll wear it.
Thanks.
I'll wear it. Okay.
I already did my homework. You can't accept it. That's your issue.
You didn't look at the date. It could have been a 1999 website. You know it.
It's not 1999. Get out of here.
Okay. All right. So I have an update. We had we have some new Patreon supporters as a result of our Red River Gorge trip.
Okay.
And so I updated that last week. And then one person hadn't submitted their backpacking story. And I always like to give shout outs to people that are willing to support us on Patreon. And that was Zach with 2 Ks, who's from Kentucky, who has 5 kids, who has maybe the most interesting inspirational backpacking story ever. Maybe. All right, check this out. How, like when you say like, how'd you get into backpacking? Common story is like my spouse, my dad, my mom, whatever, right? Not Zach. No. He watched Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
That's how he got into backpacking.
I like him already.
Awesome.
I like him already.
He tried to figure out how far the walk was from the Shire to Mordor to see how long of a backpacking trip that would be. And he came across. Go ahead.
I have seen both in Shire and Mordor. And
like you've walked from the Shire to Mordor is what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I've seen each location separately. One was on a sheep farm, and the other was in some little random place called Matamata, New Zealand. And you know,
you're talking in a movie. Filming locations. We want the actual Middle Earth locations. Like we want to go to Middle Earth. Derek.
Well, I don't know if you're going to get that accurate data.
No.
Do they have the mileage breakdown?
They tried to figure it out, and they likened it to the Appalachian Trail. And so then he started researching the Appalachian Trail and realized backpacking was a thing. And he's like, oh, that's what those big packs are that people are carrying. And so he's been into backpacking for the last couple of years. And so I always ask people like, hey, is there, you know, what do you want on our show that we're missing? Is there more, you know, more of this, more of that? And he's just a big fan of our show. He's so positive, which is awesome. But so his only suggestion is he wants more content, is what he's saying. More episodes.
More content. What was the name again? Zach?
Zach, yeah.
Zach. The only thing that I really noticed in Lord of the Rings, I love Lord of the Rings, by the way, and I plan on watching it with my kids maybe this summer. We'll see. Is the only person that really carried anything was Samwise.
Right.
Everybody else is just winking it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I'm Legolas, I get it. I can shoot anything I want and eat it. But, I mean, Samwise is the grinder, in my opinion. So,
yeah, where did those apples come from that Aragorn had that he was like chucking at the hobbits?
Great question.
Yeah.
Great
Satchel?
question.
Something like that.
I'm going to say apple necklace?
Probably that.
Were there Sasquatch back then? I mean, I know you're worried about orcs and stuff, but
they didn't explore all of Middle Earth, so there easily could have been Sasquatch there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So getting back to what he wants with more content, though, is so he like Zach, you probably found on the Patreon, like if you do want more content, it's on there. We got a bunch of bonus episodes. I want to say there's like 48 episodes on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then in addition to that, we did release a bonus episode early February with that amazing race. It's like a bonus Thursday. We got another one coming. I want to say next week.
Next week.
With a really interesting interview, another bonus episode.
Right. That's right.
It's not going to be the bonus episodes like Thursday releases aren't going to be a regular thing, but we put more content out there. So we're
check it. Yeah. Check it out.
Appreciate
Thanks for joining.
Thank you. That's all I got, my friend.
That's all I got. Guys, check us out on all the Backpacking Blisters handles, YouTube channels. Subscribe, hit that smash it, whatever they say now. I don't know what the kids are saying about it, but just do it. If you have any information on how we can trick or deceive rangers at the station so Carl can go on larger loops, let us know. send us a message. We'll see you next time.